December 2025. Of course, I'm having a flu that is really affecting my peace and comfort. It is what it is. Life has to continue, right? Reaction, whether political or social, has to continue. So guys, welcome to another reaction. If you are looking for reaction and that is what you like, then you are in the right place. So thank you so much, guys, for always showing up on my channel. I appreciate. And regardless of whether I'm well or unwell, I normally make sure that I do what I have to do. So guys, there is much I have to talk about, but I'll focus on maybe 3 aspects just within the next moment. Kate, hello, welcome. For always showing up for me. I really appreciate, and I hope God is really keeping your health. You shared the other time about your the distress you're going through, but we are praying. Today I was in church, and of course I remembered all my friends, including those online. So hello. And thank you so much. I hope God is covering you in you share the distress that I actually said that we just need to pray about it. I have a friend who also got a stroke kind of out of a fight when she was in college. And after some treatment, therapies and prayers, she just got well, and we really appreciated God for that. So I believe God will help you. And thank you so much for showing up on my channel this afternoon. Thank you so much. So I'll be here for about 30 minutes to do my presentation, because it is what it is. Every day we have to show up, or else YouTube does not have any other way to recognize our effort if we don't show up. So guys, Africans are trying to really show their necks up. They are really trying to say that they don't deserve to be trashed. And I don't know what you think. Yeah, I know it will take time, but don't give up. Keep doing your therapies. Keep actually praying and doing the best for your health. And that will help you actually recover. So I really appreciate once more for those who have been coming to my channel all the time. I thank you for showing up. And of course, today I did another live stream early in the morning, and I'm supposed to work on edit some video about church and the current setting where I am, then share it later on. John, hello, welcome. You can share us your destination, and I really appreciate so much, John. So thank you so much for coming in the house once more. This is Prissy for you on Edutainment for Us TV. And I've always been coming here to make sure that in a day, I maybe take 2 videos or 3. I'll say, Sako, how are you doing? I'm doing fine, but not so well, because here I have a little bit of a flu. But we have to keep showing up, right? John says, I'm from Australia. Thank you so much for showing up from Australia. I hope Australia is fine. It must be very cold or even chilly for that case, because I can see people in Poland and even people in America complaining about the cold environment in the winter. Glitch says, hi, shout out for me, please. Glitch. Thank you so much for showing up on my channel, Glitch 911. Glitch asks us to actually recognize him, and it's pretty good, right? There is somebody else, Will's Products. Will's Products says spit or swallow. What should we spit or swallow? Is it Trump you want us to swallow or spit? Or what is that? Alisco says, I live in Deira, Banias. Is that India? Deira, Banias. It looks like India, but I'm not so sure. Yeah. Glitch also says, hi, I'm from India. Welcome from India. I have so much of my audience coming from India, and I really appreciate. Willie's Product says, up the pink or in the stink. What is that? You might have seen the background. You know, I'm working from an environment which is more of a hostel setting. So whatever you see, just bear with me, because I have to go on regardless of the task I'm conducting currently. I just have to show up on the channel, or else why not? Glitch says, I'm from India and I've subscribed and liked. Thank you. Glitch, what else did you retract? Thank you. So let's start our discussion. I was just saying that Africa seems to be having leaders who are showing up for Africa. And maybe it will be taken as by some leaders, but in my case, I think it's just being assertive, right? We are having Africans who are trying to be assertive as possible. Glitch says, can we have house tour? I'm not in my house, so why should we have a house tour? I'm not in my house. I'm currently in a hostel because of the activity we are conducting, right? So don't expect a house tour now. That can be any other time, but not now, because I'm not even at home. I'm just elsewhere, only that I'm conducting a reaction, as obviously I must show up for my channel every day, no matter what, okay? Yeah, you can see I have a very serious cold and a headache kind of, but I've taken medication after I went to the dispensary in the morning, so I have to proceed anyhow. So another day, Glitch, I'll show up for that. So guys, continue subscribing to the channel, like the video, and let's move on. So I was talking about Africans actually. There was a time when Africans did not talk when they're under colonialism. Glitch says, are you a teacher? Of course I am. I am a teacher of English. And anyway, here I don't come as a teacher, though there are some lessons I do hold at some point, and you'll clearly see me, especially when schools open. I normally do a lot of lessons for the sake of students. I also teach, that's my profession, but currently when it comes to the channel, I don't particularly focus on teaching alone. I do lessons, I also do reactions, social reactions, political reactions. So thank you so much, and support the teacher to grow, because in Kenya there are so many limitations for the teachers. The salary is a bit lean, and at the same time opportunities are scarce. So we are trying as much as possible to also explore other aspects or avenues of life just to make it happen. So thank you for those who are watching Edutainment for Us. I appreciate your presence on my channel always. Because you really matter to me a lot. Without you, I don't know, my channel wouldn't be moving ahead. But I'm seeing with lots of love from most of you every day you show on my channel, and that's why I grow. We have about 20 minutes to go, so I'll be going on to discuss a lot and all that here. Glitch says, do you have a car, and what is your dream car? My dream car is supposed to be, let me just bear with this first as I go on with my discussion. So of course we have these dreams, but we have not achieved our dreams. When it comes to our dreams, of course, for me, I prefer to start with investments, long-term investments. And that's why you've been seeing in my channels, I've been talking about construction more than cars. I really fancy cars, but I've not really been focusing much on cars, because I tend to think if you run into a car before you invest, it becomes more of a liability, because it will eat from you. So anyway, you asked about that. Maybe we can talk about Ferrari. What about that? Okay, so thank you so much. Kate says, you are in USA. No, I am in Kenya. I'm not in USA, right? But I'm doing an analysis of what the Africans are actually telling Trump. So Trump has been trumping on a lot of Africans, right? You can say so, because if you look at the South African President Ramaphosa, and look at other presidents from other places, Glitch says that's a nice choice. What about you? You can also share about your dream or whatever you have achieved, so that we understand, okay? All right, so from US, of course, we are looking at Trump. This is a first world country. And since Trump went back to leadership, his mission has been to sweep all the immigrants from America. He started with saying those who are illegally migrated there, they have taken jobs for Americans. And of late now, he attacked the Somalis and came down to Kenyans, among other people. Away from that, we saw Trump actually targeting South Africa. Kate says, don't even go there. Why? I thought there are opportunities in USA being the first world country. We always dream of that and say it's a place where you can grow very fast and go back to your country. Of course, we don't want to go there, relocate and settle there. But we always know that if we look at this competent-based education, for example, we tend to believe that possibly USA has the best. Though I have been watching of late Japanese and Chinese education, and I think it's more of hands-on. That's the best system I would actually wish my children should achieve. Only that we can't make it to take our children there. But if there is an education I would really admire for my kids, it's Chinese. And, those countries, China, Korea, Singapore and all that, because they do ensure that the students in schools are conducting practical lessons. You see them from, like P1, P2, all they do is practical lessons, no struggling with books. Because if you look at Kenya, of course, people try to say that our education is also better, but I don't think it's better than first world countries or these other countries that have really done a lot of progress in terms of advancement. Like, can our students in grade PP1 or PP2 operate a computer fully, or can they even have corrections on a TV in case it's not working, coding and such things? However, when you go to China and Japan, Hong Kong and among such nations, you find that the kids can do that. In China, children know how to conduct laundry, even boys and girls all the same. You will see them baking, you will see them doing cleaning and all those activities. The lessons are based on practical. And that is one of the places, I think, the reason why Trump began a war with China. He knows that China might overwhelm or rather outdo America in so many things. And how I wish that should happen so that we don't just look at USA alone. Like many people are just like, in the US, in the US, in the US. They forget that there are other places like Australia, Canada, China, and Hong Kong, Singapore, and all those places, Malaysia, they have grown. Those are nations which have grown. They are better by far by our own nation or country, Kenya. And so as we get our president always referring to Singapore and all that, we are like, what is it that you are not bringing to us? And I think from my own studies, what I know, China and Singapore and all those, Hong Kong, among other nations, they insist on practical education. For us, of course, we have music, but let me assure you that my boy who has finished grade 9 might not be even able to code anything to do with music, solfas, and what have you, but they have gone through the syllabus of that. They have gone through PE. They have been given grades all along. They have finished even the exam. They are going to the next level, grade 10, senior secondary. But have they really mastered anything to do with PE? Like you can tell them to enhance other younger people? Impossible. So the problem with Kenya is that our system is not practical. However much we are struggling to get into CBE, we are just doing it because we have seen other people doing it. We want to really post to the world that we are getting it right, but there is a serious problem. But anyway, today when I was looking at Malema was reminding President Trump that he shouldn't be trashing African president like that. But of course, there are some of them who chicken out so easily, like our own President RUTO. He went to America, he was given a lot of billions, but I'm so sure he's hiding something that Kenyans might learn with a very rude shock. And the people like Duale are really defending the president, saying he went to bring money. Musalia Mudavadi is saying the same, and indicating that opposition are only there to oppose growth. But let me tell you, there is no tea for nothing. I've always referred to that statement which has been posted by somebody there. There is no tea that is free. If somebody gives you a gift today, make sure that you understand why they're giving you. There must be strings attached. Very rare. It's very rare for somebody to give you such a big gift without strings attached, right? Okay, Kate says, I see Jim always talking lessons. Oh, of course, I do talk about lessons, but sometimes I break from that, especially when I realize students are on holiday. parents are not really, like this day, many students don't focus on studies. Even when I check on my videos which are focused towards lessons, very few students look at that. But in April and August, parents insist because this is a festive season. Students, most parents relax. Some of them want the students just to go for holiday and all that. So they don't really insist that their students should be watching something or studying. But when it comes to August and April, those short holidays, parents insist that their students should be watching. Again, I target the scholars because during the study time, in the evening, some students would want to refer to a text that I've done analysis on, some grammar parts, some writing. So that's why I'm not doing lessons currently. Kate says he wants you a gold. Of course, that gold in Kolomani and the minerals, the rare minerals they said at Taita Taveta, possibly that's the target. I'm so sure about that. And, or diamond? Oh, so we have diamond too. Is it the rare mineral in the other part? All right, so Trump was actually bashed at some point by Malema. And I want us to go to that. And do you agree with what Malema said? Malema said that the president of Africa should, should style up and stop being chickened in the presence of Trump. Trump just trashes them and they agree with that. They go there and they are like, they have been rained on. Some things that Trump said. And of course, Malema was saying that, is it a must for somebody to get a visa to US? He quoted an example of Fidel Castro, said that Fidel Castro died and he personally went for his funeral and he did not have a visa to America. But did he not live and die? All right, so let's go to Malema and check on what he says here. And if you agree with that, please drop a comment. If you don't agree again, I wish you drop a comment. Only that consider being respectful. Some people come here and they're raging with a lot of anger. Cool it down with some ginger, or grab some soda around you, or if you have some water, it still can do, right? So that you don't boil up. We keep anger so much that when you find somebody presenting a video on a topic you don't like, you just come out bulging and showing how low you are by maybe beginning to abuse or something like that. It doesn't really make you better, does it? I don't think. And even after you've raged like that, does it make you calm down? And for me, I just laugh. And of course, I add the list to my comment because you are adding something on my comment section, which is part of what YouTube wants. As you present a live stream, they count on the comments, they count on the likes, they count on subscription. So guys, before I continue, please take your moment and subscribe to the channel. It's something just 1 minute touch and you'll have subscribed. And of course, you have to also turn on the notification bell so that in case I post any video and you're interested in it, why not? You can come and watch what I've done. Always go back to my channel, watch so many videos I've done on different parts of Africa, America, and across the world. I'm still trying to get to understand more. That's why maybe I've not reached your nation, but one thing at a time. Of course, I'll get there. First thing first, all right? So let's check on Malema and see what he was spitting at Donald Trump. So he said that no African leader is brave to say this, but then he must say it. So let's listen to what he said.
In Cuba. Why are they suffering like that? Because they decided to take an ideological position against imperialist forces led by America. We must take inspiration from those people. And where we can help the Cubans, let's do that. I said to the TG, if we ask, because ours is very clear, that thing of declaring money to the IEC and nonsense, it's a mission of the Oppenheimers to see who's funding the EFF. I said to TG, we need to find the individuals who can each give us 99 and not more than the threshold, so that we don't get to lose them. Put that money together, buy food, and send to Cuba. That's who we are. Insult us anyhow you want. We build houses for disabled people when we've got houses, because their pain is our pain. So when we do that, we are doing that against America. It will never like that. But are we going to retreat because America doesn't want us to do that? Never. Even if America decides that I should no longer enter America, it's okay, I will enter Zimbabwe. I'll enter Botswana, I'll enter Nigeria, I'll enter Africa, my home. Why should I be concerned about people who are going to feed me beggars and make me
Guys, did you just get what Malema said? Malema said he doesn't want to really bend down to people like Trump or America if they'll, because why should he be concerned? They'll feed him on a beggar aspect. And I was like, what is that exactly? So I went back to check on Somalia. Of course, you remember recently when there was an argument between Trump and Melania. What Trump said is that Somalis are just trash back in America and they don't deserve to really be there, and that they are just there to waste them. They don't add any value, which I disagree. I don't believe that people who have left their countries to go to America are total minions. They are not, are they? If you're in America and you're African or you're from Asia, are you a liability totally to America? There are some sort of jobs, if you talk to people in America, they say that no American will do it. Like house help jobs, even social worker jobs. No American wants to do such a job, right? And you'll find that in these levels, most people who work there are Africans. So why would Trump trash those people who are going there to serve in such places, and he knows that they are helping? All right, so let's see. Malema says that if you are not allowed to go to America, then go to Nigeria, go to Botswana. And for myself particularly, I want to go to South Africa if I get a chance. I should check on South Africa. And of course, Nigeria being a Hollywood thing. Of course, before actually exiting this world, I should visit Nigeria. I should also visit Botswana because of TAORE. And I should make sure that I see this country, South Africa. Then I can see on the list the rest of them, right? So many people, of course, battle to go to America. But if you ask them where they've gone to Africa, where there's no opportunity, they can't tell you. You look at Sudan, for example, there is a time it had an opportunities when after the war, the civil war, though it has not ended, but there are opportunities. Anyway, let's continue listening.
When I can go to Nigeria and eat jollof, nice nice food. So why must I fight for beggars instead of jollof? In Nigeria, you must. DSG was there. Were given a nice jollof rice and what is that? Goat soup.
Pepper
soup.
Pepper
By
soup.
the governor of that state, Enugu State. Ah, la la. Hey, my guy,
Oh la la.
sweating, but we're not stopping. Sweating, but not stopping. That's how nice Africa is. So you want to threaten me that you won't give me a visa to America or give me a visa to London? I don't care. I'll go to Africa and enjoy the company of my own people. One day this will come to an end. Even if it's not achieved under me, I must lay a foundation for those who come after me, that we must not hero worship America, so to an extent that when we are threatened that we can't get visas, we retreat on our ideological position. Fidel went to the grave. I went to bury him. He didn't have a visa to America. So who am I?
All right, guys, and all of you understand Fidel Castro, whatever he was fighting for, it is what TAORE has achieved, and the president of which country? Recently I saw another country which is achieving what Botswana has achieved. There is an aspect of neocolonialism that is pushing us to the wall, and you find that we borrow even too much, and there are also ties held. Now, for example, I did an analysis of housing project in Kenya. And I came to understand that is out of the push of the World Bank. World Bank wants to make sure that Kenya has a continuous way of paying debts. And therefore, the president had to bend down and take a lot of money from, the World Bank and then start this project, then now begin deducting the salaries of Kenyans. Now, Kenyans currently, most of them do hate the president. However much he will push himself into 2027 and whatever, the reality is that people loathe him for, reducing the pay slip. There is nothing painful as somebody reducing your salary. If somebody wants to reduce your salary or rather deduct something from your salary, they would rather begin by raising it first. Then once they raise, if they deduct, even before you begin receiving it, you won't feel it. But now when you've already used to that kind of reception, then it's deducted. However much good they are trying to say they are doing for the nation or for those who are jobless or for the whatever, it doesn't beat logic. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't even add value to that citizen who is suffering, right? And so what Malema is saying, like our ideologies as Kenyans, where has it gone? It has gone because of the trust we've given to USA and these other nations. Of course, our Kenyan country has given allegiance to not just America, but China too. So there is a fight, and at the same time, they are trying to embrace these two fronts just to make sure that they achieve their mission, which may be personal or whatever. Now, when you look at the current, recently, when our president went to America and actually picked some money out of health. That health deal, I doubt it is for free. As Kate has said here, it is possibly targeting some minerals or something like that. Now, Malema comes out to remind the leaders of Africa, and recently, you remember I did an analysis on Pierre Lumumba and Professor Miluka, right? And they were talking about the fact that African presidents really bent down to America so much, just so as to embrace them and continue benefiting from whatever reserves they have, not knowing that we are being put in ties all over the years, okay? So Malema reminds us that we can actually do well by restricting ourselves within Africa and doing just biting what we can swallow. Unfortunately, our president won the easy way. Take, and promise people that more is coming and we are doing development. But on reality, if you compare, because I was looking at Ndindi Nyoro's report yesterday when he said that we have borrowed over, was it 5 trillions? 5 trillions in 3 years. That is amount of money that has been borrowed since Kibaki started leadership. You can imagine, in 4 terms, that is 20 years. Something that was actually borrowed in 20 years has been borrowed in 2 years. And therefore, that's why you will see our president keeping reminding us that he has done this, done that. But if he has overborrowed, then he should have done even times 10 of what has been done, all right? And Malema reminds us that we should be proud to go to Africa. Of course, I hear of jollof rice in Nigeria. There are some other many goodies. And even just enjoying the nature around there. Going to Tanzania, you see Kilimanjaro. Go to Uganda, see all that. And elsewhere, okay? And you might still survive. You don't have to necessarily go to America. And again, is it only America that is the destination country that people want to go to? Currently, people are going to Canada, Australia, and Malaysia, Singapore, and even Dubai, right? And therefore, this has opened our perspective that we don't only want to go to America. We just want an opportunity that's better than what we are. Maybe our salaries are low in Kenya. We want a place that will pay us better. And then after 20 years, you come back and invest. Or you invest as you go on. So it is not necessarily the fact of America. And I think he's right. So let's listen more.
If I were president, I will never be sheepish in front of the U.S. Attack on South Africa. Never. First thing I would have dealt with properly is that thing of Rwanda of killing our people by Kagame, killing our soldiers. Till today, we have not responded to that situation. Now the report has come out. Only 27% of our soldiers are fit for purpose. It's not me. When I say it, I get insulted and be told he's putting the country at risk. We are at risk. We we need to turn around the military of South Africa. We need to put more money in the military of South Africa. What is the point putting all money into all of this when you can be walloped by a small country like Rwanda? Humiliate you to a point where the president of Rwanda makes no apology about it. He continues to insult us till to date. Till to date. And there's no response. Well, me and Ramaphosa leadership style is different. He does his own things his own way. Sometimes they work, most of the times they don't work. Like that diplomacy of his was needed now. Because we owed it not only to Trump, we owed it to the world to be hospitable to our visitors. And we're exactly that. And never shown a sign of a panicking nation, which is under siege by America. So you should know that I will never be sheepish. We've got, and most of the Matala, when Matala said to his God, how many? 8 special forces, 9 special forces, 8, and 1 task force. He was not answering the question. He was actually trying to threaten us. That he walks around with the army. The special forces of South Africa, it means the highest level of the South African National Defense Force. The highest. Those people alone, they can flatten that thing of Rwanda alone. Our special forces.
Now, Malema comes out to give a statement that is related to what President Museveni in Uganda said. Does this mean that Africa really needs to empower their military? Because Museveni said that East Africa alone should have a military that is common. And therefore, Malema also comes out and says that South Africa can be threatened or is easily being threatened by Rwanda because they don't have forces that are strong enough. Kagame is really doing it, killing a lot of soldiers. He did kill the soldiers from South Africa. And when they tested their own soldiers, they realized very few were up to the task. And I'm asking myself, why is it that the African soldiers are not aptitude? What is happening? Is the training the problem? Is it the fact that the republics don't focus more on that? Or what is happening? Because automatically, the military base of a country should be strong. Then you will be sure of security and internal strength. So if a nation like South Africa can have a problem with the forces, then what about us, like Kenya or any other nation? You know? Do you agree with what Malema says, that they should be on the forefront to actually get strong forces who can sweep away Rwanda? Now, this is Africa against Africa. That's what I think. I don't just understand, maybe, is he trying to say that they should be globbering Rwanda? Is he right in that also? Maybe I would ask a question to you so that I let you contribute towards the discussion. Now, Malema came out to talk about many things than just that, and I want us to look at the third one. Then we'll be coming back to the drama in Kenya. But before we do that, of course, we'll be looking at TAORE too. TAORE has been also known to speak in this
It's not about local government elections, it's for the survival of the EFF. Because if it took a knock in 2024 and it does the same in 2026, it must know that is a way out of the South African politics. So don't ask me about strategies. No. You can't ask me that. Just know we're fighting. And at the center of our fight, and central where resources will be put highly, is in the Eastern Cape. We have been sleeping in that province, and we're not going to have a provincial leadership that is going to sleep in that province. Someone asked me, are the provinces, that Eastern Cape leadership, if it's not going to change its attitude, it will watch this EFF from Reverend Zondo's church in mid Val, is it Val or mid-Val or somewhere there? Because that's where people are frequenting. The only person who's able to bring numbers for them is the congregation of Reverend Zondo. We have no place here for people who want prayers. One prayers, Zondo is waiting for you there. In return, you shall march in his support for his rape case when he appears in court. Not yet. We're not going to loiter around with people of no value and substance. The performance in the by-election of Ekurhuleni yesterday has been sanctioned here now, 2 o'clock, when we're finishing. They are coming here. They must explain what happened. If you lose a single vote of the EFF, and why must we keep you? Because there are clowns who are running around here in Gauteng, and then who are more into monies than the actual organizational work.
All right, guys, we'll be back to EFF discussion later. So I want us to focus on TAORE. TAORE also addressed Trump on the same matter. So let's check on TAORE before we get to the drama in Kenya. And of course, we are focusing on G20, right? So let's see what TAORE said here.
Africa will no longer bow to anyone. Today, we stand as a continent of dignity, pride, and unshakable sovereignty.
South Africa made a very bold decision that surprised the whole world. Normally, when one country finishes its time as G20 president, it flies to the next host nation to hand over the leadership baton. This is a tradition that has been followed for many years, and every country respects it. But this time, South Africa said no. They refused to travel to the United States for the ceremony. Their message was very simple. If you want the G20 presidency, you must respect us. We will not fly across the world just to follow a tradition that benefits you more than us. This decision was not rude. It was a statement of dignity. South Africa wanted to show that Africa is not a continent that can be pushed or ordered around. For many years, African leaders have been expected to travel to Western countries to ask for support, approval, or permission. But now things are changing. By refusing to travel, South Africa showed confidence and self-respect. The country said, "We are equal partners, not followers."
Okay, let's check on TAORE too. It seems I didn't click the right video. Okay, let's see this.
When you have the perfect response in your head, but your fingers just can't keep up. We've all been there. Typing, deleting, retyping.
Africa should never be seen as a continent that needs generosity. We want to be treated as equals. To us, this is very important. Our sovereignty is one of the things that we hold on dearly to.
Earlier this week, the South African government made a firm declaration. They would not fly to the United States to hand over the G20 leadership responsibility. Typically, the tradition is symbolic. The outgoing host travels to the next host nation to officially pass the leadership baton. But this time, Pretoria said no. The statement has sent shockwaves across global diplomacy and caught Washington completely off guard. With only days left before the upcoming summit, the United States now has two choices: travel to South Africa and collect the presidency in person, or 2, proceed without a formal ceremony, breaking decades of tradition. Tension between South Africa and the United States has been growing quietly for months. But things exploded when Donald Trump publicly criticized South Africa's role in the G20, calling it unqualified and questioning why South Africa should host the presidency. Then came the breaking point. The United States announced that it would not send a delegation to Johannesburg for the summit. They refused to come. They underestimated Africa. And South Africa responded not with anger, but with strategy and dignity. Pretoria said, "We refuse to be disrespected. If you will not come to the table, we will not chase you." This is a turning point.
All right, guys. So South Africa was actually hosting the G20 meeting, and they were supposed to hand over officially what's required for the US, which will be hosting at the same moment. So, and at some point, Burkina Faso joined in these forces. I just want to... There is a specific part where Botswana joins forces with South Africa to stand bold into this move. I don't know what you think about this. Are they right to do that?
Sending a clear message to the world that Africa no longer boasts but treats, and this is a good stance. I see join countries such as Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso to tell the world that we Africans, we cannot continue to be dictated by others. But let us ask ourselves, brothers and sisters, why Trump has decided not to attend the G20 summit. In the history of G20, all US presidents have attended.
Yeah, so guys, that is the first president of US to actually create such a situation. Is Trump okay, or is Ramaphosa okay? Which one? Is Burkina Faso right to join forces with South Africa and declare this move? What do you think? Drop a comment based on where you are and why you think that is right. So anyway, let's come back to Kenya and talk about the matters of our government, because before I end the video, I make sure that I bring something from Kenya too. And let's check into what our own president actually had to encounter today at KIAMBU. Of course, that's where he was. So, of course, there was Governor Wamatangi clashing with MP Karuria very badly. And away from that, the bishop addressed some matters. Let's begin with the drama between Wamatangi and MP Kururia. Then we'll come back to the moment of the church session. So that is Wamatangi for you.
Roho ndio hiyo. Roho ndio hiyo. Roho ndio hiyo. Roho ndio hiyo. Kazi ndio hiyo. Asante, asante sana. Asanteni, tutulie kidogo basi. Haya. Your Eminence Archbishop wetu, wachungaji wote ambao tuko nao hapa siku ya leo, Rais wetu wa Jamhuri ya Kenya, Daktari William Samoei Ruto, viongozi wote ambao tuko nao hapa siku ya leo, Rais wetu, mahubiri tumeyasikia leo. Kabla sijasema moja mbili ya kukukaribisha, Your Excellency, niruhusu nimuulize Deputy Governor wetu aweze kusimama akuje hapa, kwa vile ndio tuweze kumtambua.
Tafadhali tutulia, tafadhali tutulia.
Tutulie kidogo kwanza. Tutulie kidogo, tusalimiwe na Deputy Governor. Haya, asante. Governor, shukrani.
Thank you.
Haya, rais wetu, kwa niaba ya watu wa Kiambu, kwa vile hizo soko zikimalizika, watu wetu biashara zao pamoja na wakulima zitaendelea. Ya pili, Your Excellency, hizo barabara zote ambazo pia kubwa zimetajwa, ambaye haswa yenye ulitangaza wakati wa sherekeo yetu kule Nyayo Stadium, hiyo barabara ndiyo moja ambayo itasaidia hii kaunti ya Kiambu, kwa vile sisi wote wanabiashara wa hii area itatufungulia barabara, Your Excellency. Ya pili, Your Excellency, upande wetu ile stipend yenye tunapeana yetu tuko current. Your Excellency, for the record, Kiambu County sasa registration ya SHA tuko at 1.6 million. Wana Kiambu hoye! Wana Kiambu hoye! Wangapi wako na Wamatangi hoye! Tuone kwa mikono yenye wako na Wamatangi sana. So, ndio tumalize sasa. Nataka kumuita gavana. Sawa sawa.
All right, guys. So you saw that people are campaigning, guys. The campaign started, I told you, long ago. So Kabogo came up also to address the crowd, telling them to stop foolishness. Let's see this from Kabogo.
Wa kwanza wa Kiambu, ambaye pia ni waziri wa ICT, Gavana William Kabogo. Watu makofi ya William.
Hapa Gatundu North peke yake. Kazi ya kujenga taifa inafanyika katika taifa la Kenya kila kona, na huyu mtendakazi Mheshimiwa Rais. Kwa hivyo mimi niwaambie kama mmoja wenu, tuwe watulivu na tuwe na subra. Mimi nimefanya kazi nikiwa mbunge hapa Juja, nikafanya kazi nikiwa gavana hapa Kiambu, nimefanya na Mheshimiwa Rais Kibaki, nimefanya na Mheshimiwa Rais Uhuru Kenyatta, lakini kamwe hakuna mwingine amefanya kazi imefanywa na huyu bwana katika miaka yake mitatu. Lakini pia mimi mwanasiasa. Kwa hivyo kwa hayo machache nataka niwachie hapo.
So of course people started shouting before Kabogo finished and demanded for Kimani for Wamatangi. But anyway, it is what it is. Now let's get to the address by Bishop on the president, and that will be our end.
Kitabu cha Thessalonians chapter number 3, and I give mambo ni matatu. Bia mwenzako mambo haijabadilika ni matatu. 3 benefits we get when we don't get weary of doing good. The Bible says in verse 3 of chapter 3, but the Lord is faithful. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Jambo la kwanza, the first benefit what we get when we don't get weary of doing good. Unasaidia rafiki, kesho anakuwa adui. Unasaidia huyu, kesho anakugeuka. Lakini nataka kukuambia usife moyo, manake mwenye alikuita, he is very faithful. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Mwenye ambaye alikusimamisha mahali pale, mwenye ambaye alikutwika ile jukumu, yeye ni mwaminifu, hata kuacha bure. Paulo akahubiria akawaambia mwenzako mwambie usife moyo, manake Mungu ni mwaminifu. Ambia mwenzako Mungu ni mwaminifu. The Lord is faithful. He doesn't leave his own. Manake anaambatana na mtu wake. Katika saying to us to usife moyo, never be weary. Why? The Lord who got you will strengthen you. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Ambia for the Lord is faithful, he strengthened his faithful. Jambo la tatu, Mungu alinena kupitia Paulo, nenda uambie watu wa Thessalonike, kwa maana wamedhoofika, wamefika mwisho. Waambie hivi, Biblia nasoma vile inasema, Bishop, sio jambo la hizi. Kuna watu ambao watakuja wakikukata miguu, lakini Biblia inatuambia the Lord will protect you from or against any kind of evil. Hallelujah. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Hawa Wakristo wakahimizwa ya kwamba msife moyo, manake Mungu ambaye anajua uovu mahali unatengenezewa, atakuja kuondoa ule uovu mbele zako. Mwimbaji wa nyimbo akasema, manyenjagira iriku motige the authority that is there. When we have the MP, when we have the governor, when we have the MCA, when we have our president, they are being praised there by God. Na wakati ambapo mambo inakuwa magumu, mambo ni matatu, tusichoke kufanya mambo mema.
Now the president also had to speak during this moment.
Ndio. Kuna uchaguzi imetangazwa ya Januari. Na mimi naona pengine imewachanganya kidogo. Uchaguzi ya Januari si ya governor, ni ya chama ya UDA. So tulizeni boli kidogo, bado ya governor itakuja baadaye. Ama namna gani jameni? Tuko pamoja? So mjipange na uchaguzi wa UDA kwanza, alafu hiyo ingine kila mtu achaguliwe kulingana na ile kazi amefanya. 60% yenu imekwama tu hapa ya kwenu hapa. Mimi nataka niwahakikishie contractor ambaye tulimpatia alianza kule Lari, lakini huyu Kororia amenipigia makelele sana mpaka nimekubali, na nimemwambia huyo contractor awe na genge mbili, moja ianzie kule Lari lakini yakuja aanze pia hapa Gatunu. Niko na imani kubwa sana, na asante askofu kwa kutunenea neno la Mungu. Huyo askofu amesema vizuri ya kwamba Mungu yule ambaye alikupatia hiyo kazi uko naye atahakikisha kwamba umefaulu. Na mimi nataka niwaambie nyinyi viongozi hapa na nyinyi wananchi, yule Mungu ambaye ametuweka Kenya hii ndio Mungu atatusaidia tubadilishe hii nchi ito. Mama, na umesema maneno mawili ya muhimu. Umesema namba moja, unataka basi ya wamama wa sehemu hii. Nitatumana milioni 5 mnunue hiyo basi.
Okay, that is where it comes and it turns slippery, because now you find people asking, where is this money coming from while the capitation has been reduced? Anyway, it is what it is. So let's end here, and I go do some work before I'll come later to do another reaction in the evening, possibly a social reaction. Thank you so much for watching. JJFW was asking, mbona uko kwa giza? Nani uko kwa giza? Not in any darkness. I don't know what you saw that made you think we are in darkness. My background is very clear. If only you may understand maybe that when you actually show the computer, automatically it takes the background of where the video was taken from. But for my end, I think my background is clear. So thank you so much for watching, liking the video, and also subscribing. I appreciate. May God bless you on this Sabbath day. And may you continue to bless others on their channel. Bye bye for now. Let's meet later.